Dr. Cameron Sheeler with UAB's biotechnology program. Today we're going to talk about how to make a percent solution. You might ask yourself, how do I do that? Well, here's how we're going to do it. We're going to talk about how to make a 1% solution, 0.9% solution, or a 2% solution. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be a solution. What happens if your professor, like me, tells you to make a 1% gel, 0.9% gel, or a 2% gel? The same procedure. Let's go over here and we can do a 1%. Sorry it took me so long. I had to stop off and get some coffee. Now that I have my coffee, we're going to talk about how to make a 1% solution, make a total volume of 100 mils. Now, it's real simple. We're talking about percent, we're talking about weight into a volume. We want 1 gram of whatever we're trying to dissolve in to make a solution into 100 mils. It could be a buffer, it can be water. So if I take 1 gram divided by 100 mils, that gives us 0.01 grams per mil. But if we multiply that by 100 to bring it into percent, we have 1%. Now I just showed you how to make a 100 mil solution. Or if I want to make a gel, that's a 1% gel, and I need to make 100 mils, where we'd have to dissolve it into the buffer. Well, what happens if I want to make 250 mils of a 1% solution? Very simple. Let's just use our basic 1 gram per 100 mils. As you know, that gives us 1% of 100 mils. But why don't we have the same ratio equals X over 250 mils? We can even do this if I wanted to make 50 mils. It'd be X over 50. Same concept. We're going to solve for X. Rearrange it. X all by itself. We got 1 gram per 100 mils. Multiply that by 250 milliliters. Wow, milliliters. Bang, bang. We're left with grams, which is what we want. We want to know how much we need to add. Solving for X, that comes to 2.5 grams. So what we need to do is take 2.5 grams of whatever we're trying to dissolve, and we can put that into 250 mils. This procedure itself is not just for 100 mils. Use that same ratio to get it to any volume you want, and this will give you 1%. What happens if your professor says, I want a 0.9% solution? Don't flip out, but flip the board. 0.9% and 100 mils. We're going to set it up the exact same way. 0.9 grams per 100 mils. This could be TAE buffer, for example. 0.9 divided by 100 gives us 0.009 grams per mil. Multiply it by 100 to bring it into percent. What do we get? 0.9%. Easy. But that was 100 mils. Remember, I've already said you can use the same ratio to get it to any volume. What happens if we want to make a 50 mil? Well, we just take 0.9 divided by 100, same ratio. This time equals X over 50 mils. Like I said in the previous segment, we were making 250 mil, well now we're making 50 mil. So, solve for X, rearrange 0.9 grams divided by 100 mils. Again, this could be our buffer, like TAE buffer to make a gel, or it could just be water, but then we multiply it by 50 mils. Oh my gosh, look at milliliters. Bang, bang, goes away. We are left with grams. Solve for X gives us 0.45 grams. So just take 0.45 grams and dissolve it into 50 mils of your buffer or water, and it'll give you a 0.9% solution. All right, now you're in the lab and your professor says, I want a 2% solution, or I want a 2% gel. What do? Why don't we just flip the board and find out? I want a 2% solution and a total volume of 100 mils. Same setup. 2 grams over 100 mils equals 0.02. Oh, forgot to put the grams in there. Let's put it in blue. Grams. That is the same thing, per milliliter. That's the same thing as a 2% solution. As I've mentioned before, we can use the same setup to do any percent. Well, we're going to continue on for 2%, but we're going to change the volume to 35 mils. How do we do this? Set up everything as before. 2 grams divided by 100 mils equals, now we have X, the unknown, and we have our total volume, 35 mils. Same ratio. Solve for X. We've got 2 grams over 100 mils times 35 mils. Oh, mils. Cancel out. Bang, bang, canceled out. So 2 divided by 100 times 35 gives us 0.7 grams. So what we have to do is take 0.7 grams of whatever we're trying to dissolve it into 35 mils, gives us a 2% solution. Today, we learned how to make solutions. We made a 1%, 0.9%, or 2% solution. These solutions, what I used, you can use it for any solutions you want. You just take a solid, dissolve it into your buffer, or if you're making a gel, you dissolve it into a TAE buffer, or you can dissolve it in water. Whatever liquid you're gonna use, this is how you make a percent solution. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, email me. Thanks for watching.